r/legaladvice. Equivalent _purple_81 says, I live in Delaware. I posted this elsewhere recently, but now my former partner has changed the external locks without a court order or any official filings, and the place where I'm moving isn't ready yet. He claims his therapist told him to do it. He and I have gone through 2 couples therapists this year, both of whom gave up. During the process of looking for the first, I encountered a lovely therapist who initially was going to see us both, but my partner was abrupt and accusing in a phone conversation with her, and she didn't want to deal with confrontational dynamics in person. But she did recommend a friend of hers who she said is tougher. I was actively looking for a therapist for him because he said he wanted one, but he gave up calling places after a handful had no openings. I was so grateful when my therapist's colleague agreed to see him. I offered to sign privacy waivers so his new therapist could talk to mine and to our couple's therapist, as I had signed the waiver so my therapist could talk to the couple's therapist. My therapist also wanted to be able to speak about both of us with his. But this apparently made his new therapist very angry, and he said that she accused me of trying to control her, but after my therapist spoke to her it seemed she just wanted to get to know him first without any outside impressions. Things have actually gotten worse since he met her. He claims she tells him all of his explosions are just reactions to my provocations. After his first appointment, which ended up running to 2 hours, he came home so excited. He and I had met on a kink website and are both switchers, but not into lifestyle power exchange. He told me his therapist was really understanding about it and told him she's on FetLife and part of a polycule, and that members of her polycule often end up trying to get her to be their therapist. I've been open with therapists to the point of considering them friends, and therapy is often an ongoing conversation. While that level of confession on her part so early was a bit odd to me, I chalked it up to different styles. He seemed to like her. But he's actually gotten colder towards me as time has gone by. He often tells me that she thinks I'm a narcissist or psychopath, that I'm the problem, that he will only heal when I'm gone, and so are all reminders of me. By his descriptions of her, she's a lifestyle dominant. About a month and a half ago, after their time had finished, but their session had continued, he said she got a call. She answered it on speakerphone, and it was a British man, and she switched into a British accent while scolding him for calling during a session. After a minute or two she told him she'd call back later. Then she explained to my partner that the man was her submissive, to which my partner asked if he would be punished for interrupting, and she said he would be. It's in a lifestyle dominance nature to lead things how she wants them. She's about a dozen years older than him, while I'm a dozen years his junior. He likes women who take charge. And his mother, about whom he has a great deal of unresolved feelings, passed away this spring. I'm starting to suspect that his therapist is, unconsciously, I hope, setting up a dynamic with him as her submissive and urging him to end things with me rather than try to mend them. When he gave me an eviction notice earlier this month, he said she told him she would not have given me 30 days to leave, but much less. I know my suspicions sound paranoid and I'd like to discuss them with my therapist, but she's an exceedingly gentle soul and admires his therapist, and I don't want to damage their friendship. It's also possible he's lying, though if he is, it's an elaborate one he started many months ago. He's also told me she said things about the BDSM scene in our area that I only know about through a friend and he wouldn't have known on his own. I don't know what to do. When he agreed to work on us again after the first time he sent an eviction notice, he said she told him I wouldn't be able to behave for 2 weeks. When he blew up last week, because I didn't get into bed quietly enough to suit him, I just sat down, he started screaming that I didn't respect him and didn't want to say this. He mentions my supposed lack of respect a lot more since he started seeing her. He says that she told him the only reason I could need to urinate several times a night is if I'm deliberately trying to ruin his sleep. I've started mood stabilizers after seeing a psychiatrist. They're helping a lot. I'm not crying for hours or thinking constantly of the relief I'd feel to stop breathing. I'm not reacting as much to his cruelty, and I asked if he wouldn't also like to feel less controlled by emotions. He agreed to see my psychiatrist if I could get him an appointment. I had hope, but then he said his therapist doesn't believe in meditation and that I was just trying to drug him up to control him. I reminded him that I had also stated that I shouldn't need pills to live with him before I finally decided to take them, and that he had been angry I wouldn't take them. I had said he just wanted me docile then, but I was wrong to wait because I feel so much better. He then said I didn't cry as often, so I didn't care about the relationship, and that my meds had just made it easier for me to abuse him. For months I thought he had just managed to fool his therapist. My own has consistently tried to get him to allow her to speak to her colleague, even offering a joint session with both therapists. It's telling that as concerned as she is about her colleague not knowing what's really happening, she seems to be scared of the wrath of his therapist if she contacts her herself. His therapist appears to be very zealous in defending her territory, and that tracks with a lifestyle dominant. I was so glad he started therapy, but now I dread his return after each session, wondering what fresh hell is about to descend. He treats her advice as commands from on high, up to and including throwing me out. Am I being paranoid? Am I just hurt that she sides with him? Both couples therapists seemed to initially side with him, but ended up seeing his true nature and becoming concerned for my safety, the first refusing to be in the same room with him again. I don't think I'm trying to control his therapy, but he has me so self-conscious with always telling me no one likes me and everyone thinks I'm crazy that I can't tell anymore. I've sat on this info for months, but I'm watching the vestiges of a chance for him to recover withering, because he seems to be getting confirmed in his behavior by someone whose motives I now distrust. What should I do? A friend in the lifestyle has asked therapists he knows in the lifestyle, and the consensus was this is beyond what she should be telling him, and my previous therapist said the same when I asked her take on it. But I figure this community may have better insight. Advice is appreciated, even if it's that I'm being paranoid. Update: since my post, I've spent more time recently working on the place where I'm moving than I have in his house. He said he's angry that I haven't updated him, but when I did last Sunday he yelled at me and lunged. For the first time, I thought he would hit me. He said later that I was lucky all he did was yell, and that I had made him lose control. He did shove me a few months ago but hasn't done anything else physical. Now he's changed the locks and says I can stay here this week until my place is ready, but I need his permission to remove any of my things and I won't be able to lock the door when I leave. I want to get my pets moved before I involve police. My therapist finally reached his yesterday, but I don't have much hope since my ex says that his therapist told him to do this, that she's been saying it for months. Now I know why he never tried in couples therapy. My therapist seems genuinely terrified of her former coworker. And he stated again that she told him she's a BDSM dom whose poly group tries to get her to be their therapist. She told him that in their first session months ago. When I said he doesn't even see that she's made him her submissive, he said he hasn't even done half the things to me that she told him to. So apparently locking the thermostat, changing the Wi-Fi password and illegally changing the locks weren't the total of the abuse she encouraged him. Anarcho_Crim says, can you please take the time to edit your other post and then copy and paste it here? Klaseka Verb 4 Strikes says, it's time to wrap this situation with your ex up. Line up boarding for pets you can't house immediately. Line up cops or family or friends to accompany you to remove your pets and belongings. If you need to rent out storage till your new place is ready, do that. Nothing is safe with him in that house. Get you and yours out now. Leave him to his therapist. I'm sure she already understands he's hers, even if he won't confront the fact. Do not engage with him, except through text or email without recording and or having a witness present. Stop playing like he's not going to make your life worse every chance he has. Again, only text or email. Get you and yours out now. Do whatever temporary boarding of pets/storing of stuff is necessary and get yourself out of contact ASAP. r/legal advice. WiseBat4256 says, angry patron posted photo of me on Yelp without my permission, California. I work as a host at a restaurant. Yesterday a group of 6 went in to eat, and a woman had a very young baby in a stroller. She was acting entitled and told me to lower the volume of the entire restaurant because it was loud. She was trying to get her baby to sleep. Meanwhile, there were maybe 2 to 3 other groups with children. The owner told them they cannot have strollers for safety issues, which is also in the menu. The family acted very entitled and refused to comply, so he charged them $50 because they blocked her chair due to the stroller. The other family with a stroller had complied BTW. The group of 6 got upset about the charge and started filming, so the owner told me to call the police. I called them, and they got there quickly, but in the meantime the group started talking to other patrons about what happened. They started making false claims to customers coming in, saying not to come in, that they were discriminating against children, not a legal thing, right? Then one of them said here's a doctor, and told people not to go in, because people get sick there. We have a rating posted at the entrance. The problem with this is that the group posted a review and my photo is in it. This is a photo of the police, my manager, and the owner. They of course didn't have permission to post that. Can I do something about this legally? It's embarrassing, and also, I'm interviewing for jobs and have told them I work there. Also, other people, probably from the same group, also posted a 1-star review mentioning the charge. Too long. Didn't read. Yelp review has a photo of me at work, taken without permission by angry patron. Diabloconquizo says, you can contact Yelp and request that they take the photo down. They may or may not do that for you. When you're out in public, such as at your job, people are generally free to photograph you. If their review is defamatory toward you, meaning contains blatant lies, not just statements or opinions that reflect negatively on you, that might be something you can take action on. Dank_the_enforcer says, legally, we don't need permission to post pictures of people online. If we did, all social media, including Reddit, would be shut down. And a law to that effect might violate the First Amendment. Jthejik says, own it. Tell the Yelp world what terrible people they are. Trained Professional says, it's slander. It's one thing to post a picture, but it is different to publish false claims that denigrate your person or business. This is actionable and the restaurant owner should be involved, as it is their bottom line that will be affected. Reifa says, parents are the absolute worst at restaurants and airports. Don't wanna deal with a baby? Maybe have a few less. Geek001 says, was the photo taken in a public place? Few Cucumber 413 says, in all honesty it's hard to say without seeing the picture. Private property absolutely has the right to restrict the use of photography on their premise, and depending on where you are on the location would dictate whether you have a reasonable expectation of privacy. If they took your picture while on the sidewalk and you were working, you're basically sole there. Mrugals says, you could maybe try asking nicely too. Used to work sometimes back in the day. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.